Hello, everyone. It's been a while since I've recorded. I sure hope everything is still working. Oh, come on, Premiere Pro, shut down. I don't need you yet. Thank you. Better make sure this is still working. Yes. Okay. My voice probably still isn't up quite to doing voices, but I'm gonna do tier list instead. About the Owl House. I think Homestuck is going to be able to come back before Your Turn to Die, because I don't have to do quite as many voices in Homestuck, but we'll see. We'll see. For now, we'll just do this. Now, I did a tier list before. I think this was after the Season 2 finale, because I don't remember it very well. But yeah, so we got this to compare it to. Anyway. But I'm going to try not to look at it so I can get a fully unbiased ranking here. The last 3 episodes of the show were pretty good. I enjoyed all of them. But you could really tell that some specific characters were probably going to get some more screen time, and they unfortunately did not. But you know what? They sold me on the Collector, which I wasn't expecting, so there's that. Anyway, we'll just start. I feel like... Where's Edric down here? Starting with the twins is weird, because... I like the twins. I just feel like they didn't get to do very much of anything. I think I'll probably put them here. It's nice that they got... Are you kidding me? I literally just started, and now the cat wants to... I'm mad. That's cats for you. First time the door's closed in like 2 weeks. It's like, oh, that can't be. No. Anyway, I like the twins. I wish they got to do more. I feel like what they did get was good enough, maybe? I don't know. I like them being sort of supportive for Amity. It's a fun sort of subversion on them being just horrible in the first episode they were in. And the Edric getting the little... side quest with Ida was fun, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like they could have had a bigger role to play. Because they're, Amity's siblings. I don't know. I like them. I feel like out of all of the side characters, I'm going to be like, I wish we got to see more of this person. I feel like they're probably the highest on the list. After one specific person, but we'll get there. So, sad. Steve! I mean, Steve's not in my top 5, but Steve only needed 1 episode to be a good character. That episode with King was very good. And I like when, like, a generic goon or whatever gets to have a part in an episode, because it really shows you what the goons are thinking, I mean, Steve's one of the more redeemable ones for sure, because we see at the end of the finale there's still Coven Scouts kind of being Coven Scouts, but it was nice to see the Coven Scouts being treated like people in the last couple episodes there before Bellos went full mask off for the second time, I guess. So yeah, I like Steve. I think Steve was well utilized. Odalia, I feel like I have to put her in okay, because she was set up as a very interesting villain. I just feel like we never actually defeated her. Like, we got the moral high ground or whatever in that one thing, and then Alador was like, we're getting divorced. Sort of, and then we just never really saw her again. I really thought she was going to be like Bellos' host, and that was going to be her like evolution from kind of a villain into definitely a villain. But I'm glad that it was Rain now, because we actually got to see more of them. So I think I would rather take more screen time for Rain over screen time for Odalia, but she definitely could have used some more time there. Bill? Honestly, I'm not super into the Titan Trappers. They didn't really do much for me. That whole episode was a little weird. It feels like it should have set up the collector more, and it kind of didn't. Is there another Titan trap? Well, I guess not, because those were the two important ones, right? I don't think there was another one that was like actually important. So yeah, they never really did anything for me either. It was interesting to see a civilization on the other side of the globe, question mark, on a different Titan. I feel like we could have done some interesting stuff there, but we clearly did not have time. It was an interesting subversion, but other than that, nah. Like, of our expectations for who this person was talking to King. Hey, look, it's King. I think I'm going to save the main characters to the end. So we'll just keep doing side characters for now. Honestly, well, we'll put the pigeon thing in here, too. I'm going to put all the palismen in who... I think this is a palisman, right? I don't remember whose. Literally, who? Other than Flapjack, okay. Well, Flapjack's clearly more important than the other ones. Is there any other ones? No String Bean, but I mean String Bean would have gone there too. Where's Gus's? I feel like I saw it earlier. Like, yeah, there it is, okay. The Palismen are cute little mascot things, but they'd, oh, Owlbird as well. I mean, Owlbird can have D. Owlbird isn't total. Actually, I'll put Owlbird in okay. Owlbird was at least utilized in a couple of senses where, like, they were put in danger and then you feel something. But the rest of the Palismen were just there to be cute little mascots, which is fine. They didn't really need to be anything more than that, but that they don't get ranked very high because of that. I remember liking this lady in the Looking Glass Ruins episode, because, like, if I look back at my other tier list, I actually had her ranked fairly high. Probably too high. But I liked her for being, like, evil and somebody for Gus to fight against, because we all know Gus needs something to do. But she didn't end up really doing anything or going anywhere, so I'm going to put her in D. She was just a one-off episode villain, so I don't really care. I care about her as much as I do her and her cronies. There's this guy and there's another one. The one that gets the mustache. I think he's wearing purple. Yeah, this one, okay. They were one-off episode villains. They could have gone somewhere with them, but they didn't feel the need to, so whatever, I don't care. I remember, okay, next is the detention crew then, I guess. Where's the leader? There she is. I think that's all of them. I love these guys. I know I said that Edric and Emerald were like the ones that deserved it the most. I really liked Luz's chemistry with these three in the one episode they were in, and they did keep showing up during the series, which is nice. I had to look up their names. It's no, I've already forgotten. No, I remember this guy's name is Jerbo because that's funny. Nope, I've forgotten them already. Barkus? It's Barkus and Viney because she's got vines behind her. Ooh, big memory moment. They had some funny like background stuff, like in the Grudge-B episode. There was the like, "You're dead to me," which was funny. I just wish we got to spend a little bit more time with them because I felt like they were very interesting in terms of being kind of like Luz, wanting to learn all different kinds of magic, and that was kind of the point of taking out one of the points of taking out Belos, right? Is that Belos was restricting people unfairly. So I don't know. Maybe they could have done something. But as it stands, they're kind of just... I'm going to put them in okay. I feel like the dog might end up having to go in D tier. They were like shown in the finale as well. Like they got their own like, here's where they are now. So like clearly they were favorites of somebody on the staff, so I'm not alone there. But hey, I don't think Barkus talks. No, they do. Just through subtitles. I'll keep them together. Because like Barkus is a teacher at Hexside, and Jerbo is like part of the crew that's undoing sigils. I don't remember what Viney was doing. She might have been. She might have been with Lilith's crew that was building that museum. I don't remember. But I did notice that they got endings, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Del, I think his name is. It's Ida's dad. I think he's a pretty good yeah, sure as well. He was really good in the one episode he was in. I feel like he could have impacted the plot a lot more, but oh well. I just don't give a crap about Warden Wrath. I just don't. I had to remember his name. I don't care. You know what? I'll put this as we'll do that. That feels like it makes sense to me. I feel like Bartholomew is kind of a yeah sure as well, which I was not expecting, but he had a pretty big role in that one episode. Good for him, I guess. He was pretty funny. I honestly didn't mind him that much, but I don't know. I think is he Steve's brother? I think that might have been a theory that never got confirmed. Also, his name is Matt Tholomew. That's very funny. Everybody just calls him Bartholomew all the time. I feel like we could have sacrificed this character's screen time and given it to somebody else, but that's fine. Oh, let's go for all the weird and wild. I don't know. Is this a coven head? I don't actually know. I don't think so. Because I feel like I recognize most of them. Let's talk about the coven heads. I guess Rain is a coven head. This one. Wait, that can't be it. Okay, no, there's this one. Oh, and where's the U? And then Terra Megara. Alright, well, obviously Rain is in my top 5. Rain wasn't in my top 5 last time, but Rain was very good in these couple episodes. Like, Rain was good in the finale, too. But Rain kept being good. And I'm surprised, but happy. Okay? It's good. I think this guy is fine. Terra, actually, pretty decent as a villain. She didn't really do anything in these last 3 episodes, which kind of makes sense. She was just a punchline, and the Collector turned her into a puppet. That's fine. I wish we could have gotten maybe a little bit more out of them. I'm sure we would have if the series went on like it was supposed to. But these two were fine, like, intermediary villains. I didn't really feel like I really needed that much more from them. I feel like they carried their place pretty well. I really did want more from Darius, though. Eberwolf is kind of on the same level as Barkus, because also doesn't talk. I really wanted more from Darius. Darius is a cool character and had a relationship with Hunter that I thought was very interesting, and we really only got 1 episode on it. At least he was, like, around, which isn't something that a lot of characters could say. But, yeah. I could have used more from that guy. As for the other Coven heads, they're basically Who status. Like, they had that one fight scene at the end of Season 2's finale, and that's it. They were pretty cool there, to be honest. So I kind of wish we could have seen more of them. But as it stands, they didn't really get to do anything. I think the dads are probably going in here. I didn't really need to. I think they fit the role in the story that they did. We got that, like, one moment where they help, like, one of them's trying to really scold Willow, and the other one is helping her go out and meet her friends or whatever. That was interesting. That was enough characterization, really. They got off better than Gus's dad. Where's Gus's dad? Is Gus's dad even on this list? Uh-oh. He was on the last one. I don't see him. Gus's dad, I mean, was a reporter, so you could have done something interesting there, but we didn't. We didn't. And apparently he got dropped off of this tier list, so oh well. I probably would have put him in this tier, which I guess is C tier, technically. I wanted more of this guy. I feel like having that guy and Bellos meet was something they definitely had planned, and it never got to happen. Like, for Bellos to see what a witch hunter has become, and him being, like, disgusted by it. I feel like that was something that could have maybe happened. I do like that he, like, showed up again in the Season 3, Episode 1, just to, like, yell at Gus and then get arrested. It's good. Is, what's-her-face here? I don't think she is either. The cool girl that V is shipped with. I don't see her here anyway. I'd probably put her in, yeah, sure, because I feel like she served her purpose. Yeah, so I feel like, I don't know, that guy's fine. I don't remember his name. It's fine. Loses dad, I mean, that's a who, but that's intentionally, you know? It's supposed to be like that. Skara. I remember Skara's name the most because I think she was one of Amity's friends, right? And then she ends up actually kind of being a decent side character. I don't think I needed any more from her. I feel like we got enough of her with the Willow Flyer Derby shenanigans. She got an ending too. It's kind of crazy. I don't remember what she was doing, but I do remember seeing her anyway. Principal Bump. I actually ended up really enjoying Bump, and his first episode appearance would not have me expecting that. But I was actually kind of sad that he got captured by the Collector. I was like, aw, I wanted to see more of him. But I'm glad he gets to retire at the end of the series. Yeah. I don't know if he was the most competent principal in the world, but he was a pretty decent guy, I guess. That's all I can say. I kind of enjoyed his tomfoolery with the children. It's fun. I don't think you could do anything else with them, so yeah, I feel like that was pretty much all it is. The cat, or the bats. Or the cats? Cats. Coven's against the throne in the end. The cat's back. I had said cats, and it's like, you called? I didn't. Alright, she's in. We should be good now. There's another one. Where's the other one? There she is. They're fine. I feel like they're kind of... I think this one was in the first episode, wasn't she? She was like the one that did food fan fiction or something. Honestly, we could have maybe consolidated some characters here and had these people be the detention crew or something. I don't know. That would have been kind of interesting, right? If the detention crew, like, graduated the year after or something, because time in the Boiling Isles is already fucked up as it is. And then they could join Rain's little rebellion. I don't know. But I feel like having these two trios of characters that are fairly similar in concept was a little ill-advised. And I'm not as attached to them as I am the detention crew, so oops. Gwendolyn, I feel like she was fine, but I feel like we could have used maybe a little bit more from her after she was, like, redeemed, you know, instead of just having her basically only play a part in that one episode. Basha, why are we still dealing with Basha in the finale? I don't understand. I don't care. I don't care about Basha. I guess you could make an argument that one of Amity's friends should still be bad, like, so that they're not all good. But, like, specifically her, like, attachment to the other Grudge Bee team members, I just could not care. I could not care less. Caleb? Who? He actually showed up. I'm kind of surprised. But no, I think Caleb was in the show enough, you know? I do kind of wish we could have seen more of him and the backstory and maybe confirm whether or not Ida's the Clawthorn family is the one that we're talking about here when we talk about the witch that he married, because it seems very much like it, which would be very ironic that those were the same witches that defeat Bellows. I don't know. Interesting kind of potential there that I don't think we ever really got, so I'll put him there. I always just wanted to see more of Bellows. And him being evil and also getting his comeuppance, which happens a lot in the show, which is good because that's good. Flapjack? Yeah, I think Flapjack served his purpose perfectly. Poor Flapjack. Seeing the gravestone at the end actually made me tear up a bit. I was like, wow, I did not even really care about Flapjack the way some people did, but he just meant so much to Hunter that I don't care about Flora Desplora. Honestly, Azura is also a whatever. That guy's going in D. That's another one of those like one episode villain characters that I could have done without. I don't really care about the Bat Queen either. I feel like the Bat Queen felt important, but she never really was. So it's interesting. I don't remember this guy's name. I just remember thinking that he looked like the one Coven head, and I was like, wait, are they the same person? And I thought for a while they definitely were the same person, and they were not the same person. But he was fine as a villain. I didn't mind him just being like terrible and kind of learning where Bump got some of his bad habits from. It works. I do not care about the ship captain or I said that in reverse order, the ship captain or the random illusionist guy that never came back. But he's in the final episode. He's teaching at Ida's school, I think, which is crazy, but okay. I also do not care about the Echo Mouse. Apparently, I just don't care about animal characters. It's not looking good for King. Or Tenellanosa. Or this guy. Who's that guy? I don't care about Francois either, really. Yeah. And honestly, Kikimora, could we have done something with Kikimora? Or just stop doing things with Kikimora? I feel like Kikimora should have just stopped being in the story after taking her revenge on Bellows, quote unquote, by showing King where the collector was. I feel like that was it. Like, we did not need more from Kikimora. So I guess the whole villain crew of that episode I just do not care for. I feel like that is maybe this show's like one kind of annoying part, is the amount of just like random one episode, no relevance villains. And then sometimes they keep coming back, and you'd expect that to be like, oh, so now they're like important and I care about them. But no, I do not. This guy too. Fuck that guy. I hate him, and not in a good way. Which we'll get to hate him, but it's a good thing later. Alador. We're like only at main characters now, so Owl Beast and Alador, the only ones left. I honestly could have used some more of the Owl Beast. I know like Ida and the Owl Beast came to terms or whatever, but I would have loved to see like a final send-off of that storyline for the finale, because it was one of the show's best. And Alador, I'm kind of torn, because on one hand, I'm kind of fine with how much we got of him, but like, I did want more stories with Amity confronting her parents, because I feel like that kind of got brushed under the rug because of probably time constraints. But yeah, I'll put him in, yeah, sure. At least, I mean, definitely a good thing that Amity's family is the one we spend the most time with. But yeah, I still could have used more. A sucker for punishment with them, apparently. I don't know. It's just they're good villains, and we kept getting these whatever villains just showing up. I was like, no, these villains that have no connection to the main cast. You know what I mean? And Bosch actually does, which is the worst part. But it's just, yeah, it's not strong enough, I guess. Now we just got main characters. So let's go for the one that didn't show up in any of these 3 episodes, which is Hootie. I mean, he was there, sort of. I kind of turned a corner on Hootie, but I still think he's just fine. I know the meme is like he's the best character in the show or whatever, but he's like fine. I got nothing against him. I could have used a little bit of him in these last 3 episodes. It feels kind of weird. He's the only like main character that doesn't get to do anything. But then again, it's not weird, because if any of them was going to be relegated to being a box for the whole episode, it would be Hootie, because he doesn't really contribute much. I know there was like a cut backstory episode with him, so maybe I would have been more interested if that ended up being able to happen. But as it stands, Hootie's like a whatever character. I don't really care. I honestly feel kind of the same about King. And I don't know. Maybe I'm biased again against animals, because it seems like I am. But, or like demon characters, whatever, in the show. But King's story didn't really hit me the same way I think it hit some other people, which is fine. I mean, to each their own. I just feel like out of all the stories the show was promoting, King's was the least promoted. You know what I mean? Because we had like Ida's curse, and we had Luz and her family, and we had Amity and her family, and then there was like Willow's self-improvement arc, and then King's dad. That's like the order of things for quite a while there. So yeah, I don't know. It just felt like the least important part of the story, even though I guess the Titan is pretty important in the final episode. But like, even if we had no connection to the Titan, and Luz's only connection to the Titan was learning glyphs, and that's why the Titan was willing to give her the power, that would still work. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. The other main cast member that gets kind of put in a pit of despair is Gus. I'm honestly going to put him in could have used more, because at least King's arc feels complete. I feel like we had 1 episode with Gus. Man, it's not cool. And that 1 episode isn't even the Looking Glass Ruins, which is supposed to be his episode, because I feel like that isn't about his arc. Like, his arc is about trusting in himself, right? I don't want to get tricked anymore, or whatever. It's sort of like a social anxiety, you know, of like, I don't know if my friends are really my friends. And the Looking Glass Ruins episode didn't really have anything to do with that. It made up a conflict about illusions sucking ass, and then Gus being like, no, they don't. Which, like, okay, sure. The only episode that actually focused on Gus is the Hexside one in season 2 near the end. I don't remember what it's called. But it's the one where he turns the whole school into an illusion. And that actually felt like it was an episode about him. And I actually do like his friendship with Hunter. But of all the main cast, I feel like Gus got the short end of the stick way more than anybody else. And it's kind of sad. So yeah, we definitely could have used more out of Gus. Honestly, I would have rather focused on him than King a lot of the time. And, you know, it's a little sad to say, but it is true. It is true. Let's do hometown crew, V and Camila. I count V among the main characters because she kind of is. She's like Luz's adopted sibling. So it's safe to say I could have used some more out of her. I'm kind of sad she didn't end up coming with the crew. It kind of makes sense she didn't. I mean, like, I get it. Somebody has to pretend to be Camila. And definitely out of the 2 of them, I prefer Camila to come with us. And I really enjoyed her role in the story, as short as it was. I like that we got a little bit of like a redemption of her just being a bad parent, which is kind of what it seemed like for the first little bit. Can't even tell that it's not her daughter writing to her, but that becomes a little bit more believable when there's like a doppelganger involved. I'm glad she wasn't just bad. Like, you know, she could have just been a bad parent, and that would have just been less interesting. Because we already had one of those in the story. We did not need another one. So yeah, I'm glad that she got involved and felt like we had a little backstory about why she was trying to send Luz to the conformatorium or whatever. And it all makes sense. And you know, I can't really hold anything against her. So that's how I feel about that. Next in order of relevance is probably Lilith and Willow. I feel like Lilith, I'm kind of sad she didn't get to do much in the last episode either, because I was actually really enjoying her characterization for a while there. I'm one of the people that was totally willing to forgive Lilith right away, because I was surprised to learn there was a contingent of people that thought Lilith got forgiven too quickly, because I thought it was pretty clear that like she made this mistake and was trying to make up for it in her own way, because Ida would never, you know, just join the coven willingly or whatever. And she was trying to figure out a way to... It's a relatable enough thing to have her trying to fix her mistake without owning up to it. But at least owning up to it is something she did do. And, you know, in a pretty big way. I feel like I maybe kind of get the apologized or like made up with too fast in the finale of episode 1 or season 1. But in season 2, I feel like they treated her about the way I expected them to. And I don't know, she's a fun character, and I liked the history romp. I just wish she got to do more in the final season. And maybe we actually got to see her break free of the Collector instead of it all being off screen. But I know that wasn't the most important thing, so I can't blame them for not prioritizing it, but yeah. Poor Lily. Maybe we could have had an episode about Lilith instead of Gwendolyn. That would have been fine. I didn't really need to know about Ida's mom. Alright, and then Willow. Willow actually ended up being pretty well off in terms of stories. We had that early thing about Amity that really kind of kept her relevant. And then in the final 3 episodes, we had the... well, before that, we had her and Amity actually trying to come to terms with their new existences, like who they actually are now. And then in season 3, we had the short little thing where she was, you know, I can hold it all together. Yeah, I'm fine. Which I felt really worked for her. I wish Gus could have got the same kind of treatment and been relevant the whole time, but whatever. That's yeah. I feel like Amity was kind of lost relevance in the final season. And maybe that's just because she was important for the whole thing. I still like her. I just feel like she didn't have quite as much to do. Because her parents, like, that sub-arc about fighting her parents just kind of disappeared. And then it was like, oh, okay, well, she's just kind of here now. Okay. So, yeah, yeah. The Collector grew on me a lot in the final episode. I was like, okay on the Collector, but actually having the Collector witness somebody dying and then like, holy shit, dying is real? Why didn't anybody tell me? We were trying to tell you. I actually really bought it. The way the Collector's like, fix it. Why can't I fix it? It was very nice. It was kind of satisfying to see that handled in such a straightforward way. Like, I really felt... I feel like there's been a character like this in something else, and I'm not remembering right now what that is. I feel like I've seen this story tackled a number of times where they just suddenly understand. Like, they're just explain the concept of death, and they're like, oh, okay, now I understand. Death is bad. Maybe I should be more careful with my godlike powers. But I'm glad that the Collector actually got to see firsthand, and we got to see the reaction to learning, like, holy shit. And that really actually like solidified the character for me, because it made a whole lot more sense why they joined the good side once they learned that death is real. And they're like, oh god, I need to stop this from happening to anybody else. And yeah, it kind of made the earlier episodes about the Collector, season 3, episode 2, a little bit less annoying to me. Because it's like, okay, well, this was all in service to him actually learning, very tangibly. And so I kind of like it. I like his, like, anger at the older ones, too. I don't remember what he calls them. The archivists. That was, I wasn't exactly expecting that. I was expecting him to kind of still, like, be like, oh, I love them, they're my siblings, even though they did this bad thing. Nope. He's, like, vengeful towards them. It's just interesting. And that is an avenue they could take for a spin-off, which I hope they do something else with this universe, because it's very cool. Now we're down to main characters for sure. Hunter! I love Hunter. I wonder what my top 5 will be. Man, I really didn't expect Hunter to end up one of my favorite characters either, because he was introduced late in season 2, right? I mean, early in season 2, but late in terms of the show. And he was kind of a bad guy, I shouldn't do that to myself, because I'm making myself cough. But I just really liked his whole arc, and I love Bellows as a villain in this story, and I really like Hunter's relationship with Bellows and the way that develops in terms of, like, combating him. And the Flapjack thing was very sad, and his powers are cool, and he likes wolves. And I liked his friendship with Gus too. There's literally nothing that involves this guy that I think I didn't like, so yeah, that that explains that. Well, we're really down to the main 3 here, aren't we? I'm just gonna put them all up here, and then I'll talk about them. These are the main 3 of the show for me. King, Ida, and Luz? Nah, it's Bellows, Ida, and Luz. And I have to preface this to be very clear. Bellows is horrible. And that's one of the reasons I like him so much as a villain in this story. Every time he's on screen, I'm like, ooh, this guy. Ooh, what is he doing now? And his actions always feel logical. Like, I'm never, like, looking at Bellows and thinking, oh, but why would he do that? That feels, like, antithetical to his beliefs. His character is structured on a very strict set of wrong beliefs, but he always follows them. And I think it's very interesting, the sort of dissonance between, like, humanity is so great, we should kill all these other people, which is, mirroring some not too subtle real world events. British people are so great. And then him being literally like a goop monster. Which, like, he's not even human anymore, like, clearly. And yeah, I like how they dispatched him as well, with the rain and the metaphor, or not the metaphor, but the callback to him being like, I want to go back to the human realm and feel human rain on my skin again. Human rain would probably still have melted him, right? So that was something that was never going to be possible. He's always been chasing a dream that he can never reach, of being, like, respected. It's very interesting, and I like it a lot as a perfect villain for this story in terms of being a super conformity-based, evil, animal harvesting, land developing guy. Very, very good. Ida, very similar. I like her for a lot of very similar reasons, where it's like she just feels perfect for this story. I don't think there's ever a time where Ida, I was like, ugh, we have to spend time with Ida now. You know what I mean? And I feel like not having her for the first 2 episodes of, or not really having her, like, she was in the second one, but we didn't really spend time with her and Luz. I feel like them being separated was perfect, because it was just enough of a break of her. When she came back, I was like, oh, thank God. the curse storyline in the show as a whole is one of my favorites, I think. One of the reasons why this show, I stuck with it, right? Because the first season is like whatever until the last 2 episodes or something. But Ida's curse is one of the reasons why I stuck with it. So I'm glad that she exists. And she's a very fun character. And I feel like her and Bellows are very fun foils for Luz. You know? Like, yeah, I could go on, but you get it. And then there's Luz. I like a protagonist that isn't just about going forwards and sometimes is about going backwards. I feel like that makes a protagonist far more interesting when they have to sometimes struggle with being the person in charge that everybody looks to, and sometimes they make bad choices or like they feel like they've made bad choices in the pursuit of their goals. Like, if Luz hadn't been pursuing the goal of going home or learning magic, then Bellows would have never been able to rise to power. But as these time shenanigans often are, there's like no timeline where that wouldn't have happened, because clearly Bellows has risen to power. So yeah, I just think it's interesting. And Luz is a very interesting character, and I love her dynamic with literally every other character in the show that she interacts with. I think her dynamic with Rain is actually pretty underrated. Being the sort of like the suspicious parent, like, you better make sure you're home by this time. You better make sure you take care of Ida, I swear. Yeah, and I just buy her relationship with everybody. Truly, probably the most easy to get along with protagonist, I think. Because, like, there are times with protagonists in other shows where I'm like, okay, let's take She-Ra as an example, because I was, like, watching some stuff about that recently. She-Ra is a show that I enjoyed, but I do not buy that Adora is friends with all of the main characters in that show. I can absolutely buy that Luz is friends with all of the main characters in this show. Like, with little to no stretching of logic having to be done, you know? So yeah, that's my list. Maybe let's order the top 5, because Rain's definitely not at the top. I think it's probably something like that, I think. And yeah, I really enjoyed the Owl House. I hope we get something else from this universe. Because honestly, the original pitch that Dana Terrace had for this show was them being a little older anyway. So maybe this was for the best. Maybe things will just work out, you know? Anyway, I gotta stop talking now before my voice gives out. So thank you for watching this rambly video. Bye-bye. Oh, like and subscribe.